Guys, I am so excited about this fusion. Hello everybody, I'm Roadblock and this is a Raid Shadow Legends video. I haven't been this excited to make a video in a minute. This fusion to me looks really good, and I haven't watched any other content creators. Big disclaimer, doesn't mean anything until we know the multipliers. When you're dealing with a nuker, that's what count, right? If their multipliers suck, then they're gonna suck. But let's assume the multipliers are reasonable and break down this kit, because for my account, this guy is awesome. Let's explain that a little bit. Let's explain why he is very good for my account. So for my dwarf roster, I am lucky enough to have gotten Admiral Black Tusk. Now, we are going to go over the kit, and I'm not going to spend too much time talking about the champions I would build around this guy, but I do want to relate to myself a little bit here. I want to make sure that you guys understand why I like this guy so much, because he's going to be really good for me, but not everybody may have this roster. You know, you may want to vary or value your investments accordingly, because we know the turtles are going to be coming up soon, so we don't want to necessarily waste our resources on this fusion only to miss out on the turtles, right? Now, listen up. I just got a new promo link that you can use to follow along with me on my latest free-to-play adventure and get a free Elenaril, as well as 3 more powerful epics as you level up. Here's how to do it. Log out of Play and Play and uninstall. Click the link in the description and register with a brand new email. Launch Raid and complete the tutorial. Go to your inbox and claim your first champ. Don't miss out on your chance to get Elenaril right after signing up, as well as Fayne, Uugo, and Tagoar as you progress through Raid. Click on my link right now and let's crush this together. I am in a position where I'm doing pretty fine resource-wise, so I feel good that I can do this fusion, and this fusion will be very good for me because of Admiral Black Tusk. So Admiral Black Tusk is the faction unity champion, right, for the dwarves. He brings a stun A1, allies deal double damage to targets under stun, resets cooldown of the skill if they're killed while under a stun, and he can, cannot be resisted if he removes and stuns. But the big thing for him that I love about him, this is a 3-turn ally attack with cleanse. Right? Then you have the passive here. Whenever an ally places hard CC, fills that champion's turn meter. Oh, the big thing, this one I've honestly never really read. The big one here, it's a little bit behind me, but he places stone skin on all his allies for 1 turn. But what we learned when we were testing him is that that stone skin can be permanent if they're in a protection set, which he is. And we learned that it can go up to 2 turns if you have the mastery. I didn't realize he didn't have a chest on. I need to fix that. But yeah, for masteries, if you have lasting gifts, you can actually extend his stone skin to 2 turns and have it be protected, right? So I'm now understanding why my teams have been struggling. So I'm going to fix this real quick because that's a big deal. Okay, and we're back. So Admiral Black Tusk, being faction unity champion, gets better with more dwarfs. I already have a pretty stacked dwarf roster, but there are some kind of holes in it as well. But like I said, the main thing I love is the 3-turn ally attack, and I think that's going to pair very well. Now, if we look at the rest of my roster for dwarves kind of going around there, we've got Tormund, which is great for some crowd control capabilities and for slowing down fast enemy teams. We have Tholen. So Tholen brings weaken on the A1, single target A2, and a really pretty hard hitting A3 here. And now I have Senna, right? So Senna, I just got, you guys saw me pull, really good reviver, support champion, healing, all of the things, right? Like everything except cleansing. Guess who has a really good cleanse? Admiral Black Tusks, right? So Black Tusk and Senna combined work very well. I actually think that I'm probably going to have, it sounds crazy to say this, but with this new champion, I think I'm going to have an all-dwarf Hydra team. You know what I mean? Like, it sounds kind of crazy to say it out loud, but I actually really think it's viable. And of course, I have Trunda. Trunda's performance in PvP has been underwhelming for me. That could be a gear issue. It could be a blessing issue. There's a lot of factors that could go into why my Trunda is underperforming. But that's where I think this guy will shine in PvP. So without any further ado, let's pull up his kit here and we can kind of go over it, okay? So we'll zoom in just a little bit and I will move myself over here so we can talk. Okay, so for the A1, it's a triple hitter. It books up to 100% chance of removing one random buff from the target, and each hit will ignore 20% of the target's defense. Let's remember that, okay? For the A2, attacks all enemies before attacking, places a 50% increase accuracy buff on all allies for 2 turns, has a book up to 100% chance to place decreased defense, and block buffs on all enemies for 2 turns. Come back to that. You know what? No, let's talk about that now. That right there is just better Uugo. You know what I'm saying? Like, literally, that's everything that Uugo brings, except no healing, of course, and no emergency revive. Obviously, no leech. Like, we're not, like, technically speaking, no, he doesn't bring everything. But why do I bring Uugo to Hydra? Decreased defense, block buffs on a 3-turn cooldown. That books to a 3-turn cooldown. But also brings increased accuracy, which is going to make it easier for me to land those abilities, right? This is already better Uugo, but there's more, right? So for Demolisher Blow, attacks one enemy before attacking, removes all debuffs from this champion, and places a 15% shatter buff and a 30% increased crit damage on all allies. I want to make sure I'm reading that right. So he places shatter. I thought he did shatter only on himself, but he does it on all allies. I already thought he was good thinking he did it to himself, but he does it to all allies? Whoa. Then ignores unkillable, stone skin, block damage, and if the target is not under any of those buffs, the attack will deal twice as much damage. And then it grants an extra turn if they kill an enemy. Wow. We'll talk about Shatter here. So this is where I wanted to tie in the A1 as well. So for Shatter, it never really was a concern for me because I didn't have a champion that could have it. But here we go, Shatter. So it increases a champion's ignore defense by 7.5 or 15%. He brings the bigger version, so 15%, right? That's good. And then to give it to the whole team. So now anybody I'm bringing, whether it's Tholen or Trunda or whatever, they're getting their ability to ignore defense increased even further, right? Oh, but wait, there's more. At the start of this champion's turn, removes any fear, true fear, provoke, stun, freeze, sleep, and petrification debuffs from this champion. Increases this champion's damage inflicted against targets with no buffs on them by 20%. So remember, so he removes all debuffs from him, and his A1, which is a triple hitter, and each hit has a chance to remove buffs, right? So you could essentially get, like, maybe they have one buff, it books up to 100% chance on an A1, 100% chance on a triple hitter. You're guaranteed when booked to remove 3 buffs as long as they're not protected or stone skin from an enemy with his A1 attack, right? And then if you do remove them, say the first, maybe they have 1 buff and you remove it, the second 2 hits will then do 20% more damage because you're attacking a target at that point that has no buffs. Guys, look, multipliers matter. This guy could hit like a wet noodle and nobody wants him. I get that. We have to be realistic that is a possibility. But the way the kit reads is good. And then when you put him in with a lot of the other dwarves that are available, really, really good. Because he is a dwarf better Uugo. So for me, that's really good, right? If we take a look at the dwarves as well, so for dwarves, we have Tholen, right? So Tholen on the A1 brings in AoE weaken, right? Now the percentage chance of landing this is lower, but it's still 75% chance when we're talking bosses, and obviously Corrupted Alliance. So this could be your weekend champion. Very easily, that is a good weekend champion, right? Then you have the new guy who is a decreased defense and block buffs champion. By the way, with an AoE A1 and an AoE A3, I think Tholen, if you're talking Hydra, makes a great candidate for Cursed set, right? So there's your Hex, there's your weaken, there's your block buffs, and your decreased defense, right? Admiral Black Tusk brings cleansing, Senna brings reviving and healing, Molly brings provoke, and then I have a Chrysia to round it all out. Or Trunda, if I can ever get the right build on Trunda. But I think Trunda needs to be in a different kind of team with cooldown reduction and all that stuff, right? That Trunda doesn't work, I think, within this particular team, but I do think it would work well with a Chrysia, and that's a Hydra team that I'm theory crafting there. So I have everything other than decreased speed. There aren't, as far as I can tell, any decreased speed champions in dwarves that I could find. I mean, I wasn't looking super hard, so maybe there's somebody. In fact, I bet you it's probably just this guy, right? Oh, there it is. Okay. I was like, he's got to, right? Yeah, so if I could get Fjorad, that would pretty much round out the team, I feel like. But yeah, the new guy I think is really, really good, right? And especially for me, because I just feel like he fills a bit of a void. So just imagine, like, if you're using Uugo in your Hydra teams right now, he is just a better Uugo that's going to hit harder. I don't see how I could possibly be wrong about that, right? He is just an Uugo that's going to hit harder. If you need a decreased defense champion, he's a good one, because decreased defense is great to have, and he also blocks buffs, which is good. Shatter on your whole team is just going to boost your damage, plain and simple. Gotta be happy about that. And ignoring Stone Skin, block damage, and unkillable makes him usable against a ton of different compositions in this game. And even further, if you are lucky enough to be able to pair him up with Admiral Black Tusk and maybe even Arnorn, I mean, yeah, I just think that everything about the kit screams good. Multipliers are a thing, but this kit, I think, is just, I don't know. I just think this is really, really, really good. Plain and simple. I am very excited. I am definitely doing this fusion. There is very little that's going to convince me otherwise, because everything just makes sense for me and how I'm looking at it. So, yeah. Again, I think pairing him with Tholen, I think is good. I'm excited to see what my Senna can do, but yeah. Oh, and by the way, you know what? I didn't even mention one of the most important things too about this guy. He's an HP-based champion as well. Now that's where I will say the multipliers are going to be very, very important, because one of the most important things to remember with HP damage dealers is that you don't have a way to boost it, right? So increase attack, increase defense, doesn't do anything, right? There's no increase HP, it's just shields for the most part. So in order to make him smack, we might not be able to boost him enough. That being said, as an HP based champion, you're naturally building a champion that's going to be harder to kill, right? So it's the same thing with defense-based champions too, right? So being able to build an HP-based champion, you do need to have some accuracy on him, but you can get away with a little bit less because you have increased accuracy buff that he puts on himself before he goes. So yeah, I absolutely am thrilled for this guy, and I look forward to it. So I can keep talking, but I think I've made it very, very clear that I am just all in on this dude, and I cannot wait to be able to play around and test him and test some dwarf teams and other things. Like, I am very, very excited to get these champions into action, especially Senna. So we'll call that a video. I just want to say thank you guys so much for all your support. Thank you for watching. And if you are new here, please consider subscribing. It is the best way to support my channel. And I look forward to seeing all of you in the next video. Take care.